Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's episode, we are reacting to teenage sensation Max Dowman. He's played 2 pre-season games for Arsenal. We want to react to them. We want to talk about the ceiling for this kid. Could he go to the World Cup next summer? Let's get it. Okay, Christian, Max Dalman, 15 years old, in the Arsenal first team on their pre-season tour. He's played AC Milan. He's played Newcastle, a couple of cameos, I believe, off the bench in both of them.
Yeah.
We've watched the highlights, the individual highlights of Max Dalman. What have you seen? How many times have you watched it? And what is your reaction? Have you been able to process the level that this kid is at 15 years old? Hit me with your initial take.
I'm just beyond shocked. I mean, I've watched the highlights. I don't even know how many times I keep going back to him. I have to remind myself this young man's 15 years old. His athletic build, the way he plays the game, he's far beyond his years. I don't even know what we could be looking at in a few years. It's actually scary to imagine. I mean, it's the way he holds himself. In terms of he's playing the man's game right now. He's, friendlies or not, take that out of the picture. This lad is playing top class opposition, and he did not look out of his, to say he didn't look out of his depth, he was probably one of the best players on the pitch, if not the best player on the pitch. I just don't even know where to go from it. I've not seen anything like this for years. I've not been this excited by a young player coming through. Obviously, I've had my team when Phil Foden would be the starlight when he was coming through. I've never seen a player come into the first team around them big names and almost have that attitude of, give me the ball, I'll sort the rest. I've never seen it. Like 15, man. It blows my mind, bro. What's your thoughts, though?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the age is insane. I mean, just playing in the first team. So for, obviously, anybody that lives in England, he has just finished year 10. For any American listeners, I apologise, I don't really know. I believe you can obviously work it out from his age. The kid's 15. Year 10 is a year that obviously we remember in high school. You're going into your final year at high school. It's ridiculous. But I tell you what, let's forget the age for a minute. We'll come back to that because, to be honest, even if he was 18 years old, these highlights that we've seen from these 2 games would still floor me.
Yeah,
he is still going in the category of the I am like shocked with the level of this kid.
Yeah.
Whether he's 15, 16, 17, 18 even if he was 18, I'd still be like, wow. I know we've had Rooney, 16 years old. Obviously, Yamal in more recent times.
Yeah.
15, and then he turned 16 quite soon after. This kid is 6 months away from turning 16. This is a phenomenon. We've never seen this. Want to get into what we're seeing as a player, Christian, and obviously it's small sample size this, but a lot of people have been reacting to this the same as me and you, where it's, yes, I've seen half an hour of the kid, however, I am flawed, I'm already sold, and I am one of them people. What makes this kid unique? He is 6 foot. He's listed as 6 foot. He looks 6 foot on the pitch. You can tell because it's a bit unique the way he carries the ball at his height. Now, what I want to say to you is, see what you've got for player comps. I've got a player comp for you. This is what I saw immediately. If you mirrored the pitch, turned him into a right-footed player, right? He carries the ball with his left foot, although looks quite comfortable with both, dribbling with both feet, brilliant. If you made him a right-footed player, do you know the player I see? Cool. Kaka.
Yeah, I like
honestly, if you blurred the screen and mirrored the pitch, he would look like Kaka. Yeah. I'm sure somebody that's better technology than me could potentially do this. 6 foot, Kaka 6'1", both play central. We're going to get to the position in a minute, Christian. Obviously, playing off the right at the moment because he's a left-footed, he can cut in. The balance, the centre of gravity for somebody that tall is frightening. We've seen Messi change direction quickly. People at 6 foot shouldn't be able to change direction quickly. They're powerful usually. You mentioned Rooney. Zidane, another tall. Cristiano, although he was quite nimble in fairness as well. They usually have an element of power to them where they
you accept their shortcomings because you
yeah
gain so much in other areas.
little bit of like some of the dribbles a little bit not hit and run. I'm probably doing them a disservice there. A little bit of okay, that one went 2 yards. I've got to catch up to it. But they're aggressive. Zidane was aggressive. Even like a Bellingham and a Pogba, sort of those sort of dribblers where they can go past people, but it's not smooth. This guy, you wouldn't see his footprints if he ran in snow. He's absolutely phenomenal. I'm shocked. Talk to me about the dribbling. What do you think of Kaka comp, Christian?
It's a great comparison. I really like that. Yeah, how powerful this lad is. It really shocked me. And like you said, it's not like he's losing any other areas of his game. That's where it is so shocking. I mean, on the ball and his weight of pass, his timing, it's just incredible how good the level he's already at. I've just never seen anything like it. And me and you, we do not do this. We do not hype up players. But I couldn't help myself but get carried away watching this. Of course, he plays for Arsenal. But take that out of the picture. We are football fans at core. We enjoy watching football. And this lad is the epitome. I mean, Alex, you saw Paul Pogba come through your youth system. Now, when he was playing at that level, you saw he was probably too far advanced for the other lads that were the same level. However, he had his shortcomings. He was quite rough around the edges. You know, he'd blow out a little bit, and like you say, the odd touch would balloon in front of him, and all them things. You know, he improved and he came of age in certain areas. But Max Dowman is 15 years old. He was blowing past players with close control. He was making perfect weighted passes in behind in the final third. Alex, I was staggered.
The decision making, I want to just piggyback on some of the things you've said there. You made some great points. I want to talk about the decision making. If you notice, usually with young players, when they pick up the ball, when I say young players, I'm talking about 18-year-old. This guy's a freak of nature that he's doing this at 15. So, but when young players like to dribble a lot, they usually pick up the ball. They don't know when to dribble, when not to dribble. Again, small sample size. However, what did I see from those highlights, particularly the Newcastle one? There's some layoffs in there. There's some decision-making where I go, you know what, actually, I might lay that off. And then, I tell you what, you giving me on an island with Matt Targett or Joe Linton, I'm going to take him on. I know I can do it. The confidence.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alex,
obviously,
Sorry, I'll let you go.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, leaning into the confidence bit, the counter-attack with Odegaard, and Odegaard's doing what Odegaard does, taking too many touches.
Yeah.
Dalman runs offside, turns around, throws his arms at his captain. Although that's another subject we'll get to later in the video, whether he should be the captain. But he is, by name at least. Bollocks, mate.
Alex, I love it. I love the attitude. I love the fact he's coming through at that age. Do you know what that really tells you? He knows his level already. He's not going into that dressing room shitting his pants and thinking, these are my heroes. I don't want to put a foot wrong. I'll do the easy pass. He's like, give me the ball. Let me showcase myself because I'm going to wow everyone, not just Arsenal fans. And I fucking love that. I really do. In a young player to have the bottle, to stand up and be like, let me go at players. And also what I noticed, Alex, in that AC Milan game, players were backing off him. I was like, it shook me to think, right, because obviously he wouldn't have had a reputation. I suppose AC Milan wouldn't have known much about this young man before he took to the field. Now, what that was, Alex, is the first few runs against the fullback and against the back line, they were like, oh shit. Like, this is what we're up against. They obviously altered the way they were going to play that game, and they were like, oh my God, we're a bit shocked, as were we all. And that was like, Alex, I just can't get my head back. I know we keep going back to it, but you can't help but think, how is he at this level in where he's at in his life? And what possibly could he go on to?
I mean, look, the ceiling of this guy, well, look, we're how many minutes into the video? 5, 6, 7 minutes into the episode, and I mentioned a Ballon d'Or winner as a comp in Kaka. Now, look,
and I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing at you.
To go and say 2 cameos of a pre-season for a 15-year-old kid, to mention the ceiling of a Ballon d'Or winner. And by the way, for 2 years, Kaka, I know, I seen it with my own eyes. In 2006-7 season, he was unbelievable, one of the best performances at Old Trafford. I actually think it probably was the best. I know the R9 hat-trick gets a lot of plaudits, but there was a bit of Barthez help in there. This was unbelievable in that game, and he dragged them to a 3-2 loss, by the way. United were good in that game, and second leg did the same again, and obviously they went on to, I think they won it that year, and he wins the Ballon d'Or. So just going back to what he can be, Christian, it's scary. We talk about fundamentals. This kid's fundamentals, you can't teach it. The God gift. We've seen it. We've seen it with, like, say, well, what? How can you even play a comping? Because one thing that stood out to me, we've mentioned the preseason games, Christian. We've, in the last couple of days, me and you have been talking about this, and obviously prepping for this episode. We then found a man of the match performance in February of this year against Man United in the quarterfinals for the under-18s.
Yeah.
Or obviously, there's a highlight video on YouTube. Anybody wants to go and bless themselves with some phenomenal attacking play, please go and watch Max Dowman versus Man United under-18s. He is 2 months past his 15th birthday in this. It's an under-18s game. There'll be some 18-year-olds in that game. There'll be loads of 17-year-olds. He, talking about the number 10 role, Christian, which we're going to come to, he played central in that game. He's picking it up on the half turn. He doesn't need to play out wide. This guy will find pockets of space. He can turn people. His decision-making's fantastic. We're talking about Kaka. What was Kaka brilliant at? You give me in that semi-transition, I will get you 40 yards up the pitch into the final third. And then for 2-3 years, Kaka's decision-making, the finishing, the passing, all came together. I honestly can see this coming from Max Dalman. And you know the terrifying thing, Christian, is I don't actually know how far away that is. I'm not saying we're looking at a 20-goal Ballon d'Or season imminently, but I'm talking about in 4 years' time, is he the starting number 10 for Arsenal and one of the best players in the league? That's where I'm going.
Why not? I mean, from the level we're seeing, and this is one thing I wanted to touch on, Ali. So with them fundamentals that you really cannot teach at football, you know, you've either got it or you've not. And we see players, this is why we get frustrated at 19, 20, 21-year-olds. And we're still, me and you are moaning because they've not got the basic fundamentals in football. We'll touch on it more in the video. But with this young man, like, he's got so much already. And there's so many positions he could be effective in. Like you said, I mean, I'd love to see him in that 10 role. Because, like you said, if he's dropping deep, close control, and he's powerful, his dribbling ability, his then decision-making in the final third, I think he could be lethal. However, Alex, he could play so many positions. He's box-to-box because of his power. He could play an 8. He can go out wide. He's comfy on the flank. He can breeze past players. He can play incisive passes. Like, this lad is unbelievable. And, yeah, I mean, where do you see him as his favoured position? Would you like to see him as the 10 going forward?
Oh, 100%. I just think that you've got to get him on the ball maximum. And I'm also leaning into Arsenal as a squad here and where they're at. Saka's a brilliant player. It's not a position they really need to look at. I'm not saying he can't go and take Saka's position because, seriously, Christian, in 2 years' time, God knows, Saka's good at what he does. But this guy's as quick with the ball as he is without the ball. That's a unique skill, especially at 6 foot. You carrying it like the way this kid carries it. I think for the penalty, once he came inside Matt Target, Joe Linton could not even get close. Hence why he shoved him over. Yeah. So you're going to naturally see him on the right-hand side because Odegaard's the captain. I tell you right now, Christian, if Odegaard has another season like last season, and the clip that Dalman was annoyed at, too many touches on the ball, not hitting that through ball, no stats, no goals, no assists. I tell you what, he needs to be looking over his shoulder. Yeah, you might be the captain, mate, because Saka ain't giving up that right wing position. And why should he? He's brilliant, Saka. We all love Saka. Yeah. However, mate, you were absolute dross last season. Arsenal fans had enough of you. Some of them want you out the team now. Some of our favourite streamers, really don't like you, Charlie Gunner. But so for me, Christian, I'm actually thinking number 10, and I'm also thinking, is it there for him soon?
Well, this is it. It's like the team he's breaking into. It's not like when City was stacked in that 10 role and you can't see a clear path. It's like it's there for him. And also, I wouldn't want to put that on him either because sometimes talent comes through, and we've seen great players come through at United. We've seen great players come through at City. I just said about Foden. Now, I always knew Foden would make it at City. Like, you could just see he was so good at a young level, and you know they're going to go on to great things. But Alex, sometimes I put players in a bit of a different bracket as well. And to be honest, I think Max Dalman could be generational. I really do. And I don't think
Yeah.
People watching this may disagree. Look, I know it's a couple of friendlies. It's more about the things that he's doing right. It's not just we see certain players come through, like Raheem Sterling, for instance, when he broke through at 17 at Liverpool. Now, what he had was a great couple of attributes mixed with young, athletic, and he was dropping his shoulder, cutting in, blitzing past players, and we were like, mate, like, he's 17, Walcott similar.
Yeah.
But Alex, here's the difference with a Max Dowman. He hasn't got one or two attributes that he's heavily reliant on. He looks brilliant in several areas. And then you look at the fact he's 15. So then we're talking about these comparisons to Raheem Sterling, and you're like, right, but he's got another 2 years till he's at that point. So what version of Max Dalman are we looking at when he's 17 and he will be starting for Arsenal?
Something, I totally agree with your points there on the attribute side of it with Max Dowman, and you compare it into some people. You could even chuck Rashford in there, where there's a little bit of Rashford game that he has refined from being 18, but the sort of explosive dribbler off the first step, the unpredictability is still sort of who he is now. The shooting came on a little bit at times, the finishing came on a little bit at times. What I noticed with Max Dowman in these two games against Milan and Newcastle, and obviously the under-18s game, but I don't want to talk about that too much because it was against, 17-year-olds, some of who will never even make a Prem appearance. If you're going off the two cameos we've seen in the last week for Arsenal in the pre-season, when he has cut in on his left foot, when he's been out wide and on the right-hand side, he's coming in. He isn't just cutting in, shutting his eyes and hitting it, but we see a lot of, I've seen tons of that. My club's full of them. He's coming in, he's throwing feints. He's throwing feints to work a better yard. Yes, I can get a yard. I want a better yard. I want 2 yards. And then the shots coming in, guess what? He's not off balance either, Christian. Some of those shots are on target. Two of them are on target. The goal that I sent you for England, look, there's so many clips here. I wish, hopefully if I can post them, I will try to.
Yeah.
The clip for England where he's, again, isolated on the right-hand side, squared up with the defender. The defender's kind of got him where he wants him.
Yeah.
The byline's another defender. What does he do? Change of feet, goes on his right foot, goes round the outside. He didn't work a yard. He worked 3. Goes down the byline, awful acute angle, bangs it in the bottom corner.
Yeah, Alex, you hit on a great point. You hit on a great point there as well. So it's like, with certain players, you can say, show him that way, show him this way, put him in a position where we know he's not that great at, he's not that effective. But with a player like Dowman, it's like, well, are we seeing any sort of areas of his game that are like, we want to put him there in that position because he can't be that effective? Not really, because from what I've seen, this lad is very comfortable in all areas of his game. And he is only going to improve on that as well. Physically, he's going to get better. And then his IQ playing. I mean, I just wanted to mention this, Alex. So you touched on it, that he's playing with these, is it the under-18s he's in at the moment at Arsenal?
Well,
so, Alex, I just wanted to bring this to you. So he's in the under-18 Premier League, right? He got 15 goals in 15 appearances. Okay? So then it's like, where do we go from here? Because then he's gone on this pre-season tour, and has it almost put Arsenal in a difficult situation, and specifically Arteta here? Because it's like, yes, we of course want our youngsters to do well, but now it's like the pressure from the Arsenal fans will be like, right, if Odegaard, like you said, is dropping stinkers again, and it's like, we saw Max Dalman's level, they're going to be calling for it, right?
Yeah, well, I watched a little bit of League Gunner, and he was like, he's absolutely quality, he needs to play now. And he goes, Arteta won't. And it's just leading to your question now. I think Max Dalman could play on the left. I really do think he could play on the left. I obviously have literally never seen it. I mean, I've seen 2 cameos on the right and an under-18s cameo, man of the match performance as a number 10. He's in that ilk of just put him in the final third and just let the guy do damage. Sometimes, like you spoke about the attributes, the balance, the agility, the low center of gravity for a guy of his size. It's unique. It's God's gift. You ain't going to roll out. This is what people talk about. We're going to come to some other potentials that I get pissed off with. Garnacho, he's just going to get better and better and better. He isn't going to just get better and better and better because he hasn't got the talent and the God gift that Max Dowman has got, where you've got the low centre of gravity, the agility, the balance.
He's not going to learn that overnight.
So, just going back to your question, Arteta is under pressure because we've all seen this now. The internet has reacted. I think 90% of the internet is coming from position me and you are, a few of the old bods on Talk Sport are going, well, you got to take your time with this kid. You don't want to burn him out, whatever that means. It's Arteta has to look. Liverpool are a better team than Arsenal right now. I'd probably say they're favourite squad wise, but time's ticking, Mikel. You've got to win one, or at least come away from the season going, you know what? I think Arteta did everything he could there, and he signed well. Another key thing that related to other players. This kid's come through the academy. This could be a silver platter for you, Mr. Mikel Arteta. Don't worry about how old he is, because if he's one of your best attackers and you've got to win the league this season, play the guy this season. Don't be going, we'll stash him away for... Why? Why stash him away if he's better than Odegaard now? I don't understand.
Yeah, no, Alex, you're so right. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there's one thing I just wanted to say on that as well. I feel like you hear this a lot, and like, don't give them too much too soon, and like, don't risk injuries and things like that. Look, I'm not calling for him to start 60 games next year. I'm not stupid. What I'm saying is that if he's showing he is good enough, then you need to give him a chance. Because at the end of the day, I feel in this country we've got a real problem with that we have this loser mentality. Did Spain? I mean, I don't know any Spanish media outlets, but I can't imagine many of them were like, oh no, we won't let Lamine Yamal play. We'll leave it another 2 years. We don't want to give him too much money soon. Put him in the starlight too quick. We just want to, we don't want to burn this lad out. He could be 23 and knackered. No, it's only us that do that. Because we've got a fucking loser mentality. If you're good enough, then you can play. And that's what it needs to be. And I think that's where Arteta is going to get the pressure. I mean, the dream start for them would be Odegaard, hits levels that we've seen previous from him. And then it becomes a much easier transition. And you can be like, look, we put Dalman in for Carabao games and slowly integrate him. But it could happen another way. And that's where that other conversation comes in.
Let me ask you something, Christian, right? Looking at their team right now, let's say Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka play behind Gyökeres, Zubimendi and Rice are in midfield.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 1-1, an early fixture into the season, maybe one of the first. Let's say Old Trafford, because if we are winning, we will be sitting back. It's a good example. Yeah. Not even at Arsenal's ground. Say Old Trafford, United are 1-0 up, desperate to get off to a good start. Last 10 minutes, last 15 minutes, you've sort of flogged. They've done what they can do. Martinelli's running around dead ends, doing what he does. Odegaard's taking too many touches. You look at your bench. Are you telling me you're going to be going to Trossard and Madueke to come on and change a game at Old Trafford? Or are you going to get Max Dowman on as your first sub? Because I tell you what I'd be doing, Christian. I'd be saying to Madueke, who I appreciate they've just blown 50 mil on, and Trossard, you two stay sat down. Max Dowman gets half an hour at Old Trafford if we're losing. That would be my first thing I'd do this season. And I won't love to see it because I fear for what he would do against my team, and he's 15. Amazing talent, Christian. And just want to go back to, you were talking about putting him in positions he might not like. And in some of those clips, and I want people to watch them carefully, where what is the worst position for a winger to be in? If there's an overhit pass and they're trying to keep it in and they've got a fullback right up their arse, there's nowhere to go. Touchline, defender, ball, back to goal. Look at the use of his body and his ball retention. He's not letting people take it off him. He's putting his body in the right place. The penalty. Why did the penalty happen? Did you notice he slowed up just slightly, brought the contact in? That thug Joe Linton shoves him over pen.
Yeah, Alex, this is phenomenal. A thing. And also he's been doing this at youth level as well, because weirdly the United one you sent me, something very similar. Bit of a soft penalty, but he's very smart, and the use of his body is far beyond the years of a 15-year-old lad. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like he's watched Premier League level football, and he's like, I'm just going to take that and do it now. Actually is.
Yeah. Do you think that comes from being the most ridiculous standout player in every age group up till now, and he just doesn't almost think he needs to come in and be the quiet one in the dressing room despite being 15? Do you think he's been that much of a standout player in every age group that it's just natural for him?
Yeah, I'm not going to use the word arrogance. I don't want it to sound harsh, but that you need a certain level of arrogance, and I actually like it in footballers. And I feel like he has got that about him. Bit of an attitude, but in a good way. And yeah, I feel like, look, Alex, we've seen his level. Can you imagine him coming through the ranks? He will have been always the best player, and he will have known it, and everyone else will have known it. The opposition will have known it. He'll have been targeted. You saw in that United game, just fucking hacking him to death, fouling him.
Yeah.
So he will be used to this, and he will know. But then what surprised me, Alex, is Phil Foden would have had the same thing. Marcus Rashford would have had the same thing. A lot of players that have come through the ranks and broke through early will have always had that, where they excel at a younger age, and they're always the big dog, the big fish in the little pond. What was surprising to me is that when usually that big fish then gets put in the bigger pond with even bigger fish, it's sink or swim. And this guy was doing front crawl and going for the fucking record. Mate, it was crazy. Unbelievable.
No, it reminds me of a Wayne Rooney story when he first went into Everton training as a 16-year-old, and he was obviously a little bit anxious. Young Wayne, first training session with the big boys, dreamt of this moment. 5 minutes in, he thought they were shit.
Yeah, exactly.
They were shit. Alan Stubbs, Duncan Ferguson, you are joking me. I'm better than all of them, and he was 16. Christian, Euro 2004, you were 8 years old, in fairness. Wayne Rooney at that tournament.
Rooney's a perfect example. He broke through, and the level we saw him at. But what with Rooney, it was that he was at a level where he was ready to play at 14. He was barging people out of the way. He was bulldozing other teams. So he came in and he was like ready-made. So don't get me wrong, technically, the guy was gifted beyond belief.
I was going to talk about the physical side of it, where Max Dowman is not... He is a good athlete. There's no doubt about it. But he's, like you said, Wayne Rooney was the kid who went through puberty in year 3. Do you know what I mean? And he was probably having a clean shave in year 5. With Max Dowman, are you looking at, say, he isn't using brute strength and just bullying kids in the academy? He's doing it with pure skill. Is that something you want to talk about?
Yeah, basically, that's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, so it's like you can see players come through, and like I said before, sometimes it's in particular attributes that is the reason they excel at that level. Whereas Max Dalman is like, he has that as well, but he also has, he's that technically gifted that he can hold his own in conversations he really shouldn't even be at the table with. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where it is so surprising, and why I don't think we should be holding this back. When this kind of talent comes and it's generational, embrace it. Give it a chance. Put it on show for everyone. You don't need to hold him back. Within reason, look, I understand he's got to be looked after. I'm not saying start him a stupid amount of games and seriously, get him injured or anything daft. But what I am saying is 20 minutes to go, they need a goal. Arsenal doing what they do, too many passes, too much recycling. You need someone decisive. You need someone that goes, give me the ball and I'll sort the rest. And he's that guy. You know what I mean? Give him a chance. You've got to. And to be fair, mate, I'm a City fan. Do I really want it? I'll be deleting this fucking episode when he bags 3 against City.
You're so right, though. And sometimes even in this episode that's nearly half an hour long, I find myself checking myself that he's 15 and he's still got a year of high school left. Christian, it's a good segue into talking about a player that ironically was at Arsenal's academy, who is now at Manchester United's academy, who you're talking about physicality, the athleticism advantage is maybe why their stats are so good. If you've noticed, anybody watched the first half an hour of the episode, firstly, thank you for watching. And also, have you noticed how many times me or Christian have brought up goals or assists in this little 30-minute segment of Max Dowman? Not many times. We've maybe touched on you mentioned a few of his goals. I mentioned the goal for England that was phenomenal. Chido Obi, the first thing people go, 32 goals in 21 appearances for Arsenal under-18s. At Manchester United, he's had similar record. Played 10 games, scored 12 goals. He's over a goal a game. Okay, United go and poach him from Arsenal, and then he comes on and makes his debut against Everton earlier this year, probably February. I think we did a little group watch along.
Yeah.
And look, it's his debut. Don't want to come down too hard on the kid, but he couldn't control the ball, and he looked like he didn't really know what he was doing up that end of the pitch. Bear in mind, Chido Obi, is he 17 years old? I think he is, 17. Then we've seen a little bit more of Chido Obi when the Europa League was progressing and we got to the final. He was getting some of the dead league games. A game at Brentford, I think I did a watch along on my own. You were on holiday. I gave him a 1 out of 10 on my player rating. I thought he was abysmal, Christian. this is a perfect example of somebody that I believe in the academy and under 18s level is bullying people with his physicality, and that's where the goals are coming from. And every step up, so we'll go under 18s, then we'll go under 21s, then we'll go first team. Each step up, those stats are coming down, and you're looking worse and worse and worse as you progress. Max Dowman has come into 2 pre-season games against AC Milan and Newcastle and hasn't looked out of place from what he was doing in the under 18s. That's skill. That's potential. That's world-class potential. Potential isn't somebody who got numbers by being the biggest guy in the playground. What do you think about that, Christian?
100%. No, I echo all your thoughts there. I think someone like Chido Obi, it reminds me of like when we had Kelechi Iheanacho and he broke through. And I don't want to disrespect him actually, because Iheanacho, he's forged out a decent career for himself. Look, but it was obvious that at that level he was at, Nigerian strike, he was bulldozing. He really was, and he had a decent finishing ability, to be fair to the lad. But you also knew that as it went further up the career levels, and it was like he's going to be up against top-class defenders in Europe, there was a quick realisation this wasn't going to go much further, and City were going to have to cash in and move him on. So no disrespect to the guy, that was just his level. Now, Chido Obi, in his situation, we talk about the core fundamentals, Alex, and that's why Max Dowman, that's why we don't need to lean on goals. We don't need that smoke screen. We can just talk about what we enjoy watching, because we all love football and we're like, fuck me, he's good at a lot of areas that really he shouldn't be at his age. Now, with Chido Obi not having them fundamentals, they're not going to just come. Look, he can train hard, he can work hard, he can improve small things, but Alex, you said it yourself before when you mentioned Marcus Rashford. Has he really got that much better from when he first broke through? He has polished little parts of his game, and little parts of his game have come on in streaks. So when he's had the season where his finishing was, it was bob on. But really, it's always been the same. Now, I just don't see where someone like Chido Obi's going to go on and suddenly develop something out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, mate. Look, the touch is loose. Even the finishing, he's off balance, he's shooting, he's rushing his shots when he is getting chances. In the pre-season game against Leeds, he's coming on to Cunha, he snatches it off Cunha, off balance left foot. Cunha was annoyed. Could go, well, why is he having to go a young lad? I want to talk about Chido Obi because I feel like this is a deep-rooted issue with United. And I've got evidence, not that I need it, but I was scrolling Twitter the other day after a few pre-season games. Might have been after the Leeds one where, again, he was just out of his depth, man. See it where somebody actually tweeted saying, not sure about this Chido Obi guy. Like, can somebody verify these goals for me?
Yeah.
Got a reply here. Had a load of likes as well. United Genie _ shout out if you're listening. He showed great things last season, but not a regular starter, still young, will improve over time. Well, let's just start with the first bit of that tweet, Genie. What great things did you see last season? Because I don't think he controlled the football between February and the summer. He certainly didn't score, and he did get a few chances, and he got... You know what? Højlund's that disastrous. He got praised for missing chances. Chido Obi. Do you remember the Fulham watch along we did, Christian? Chido Obi had a good chance in that, snatched at it, shot into the ground. This technique's worrying me. Are you balanced when you're teeing off? Are you composing yourself? You might only get one chance a game, certainly in the 6-yard box. You're rushing it. This tweet here will improve over time. Tell me, you mentioned fundamentals, foundations. What foundations has he got to build on? Don't talk to me about under 18 stats because I need to see something. I've just watched a 15-year-old lad go and obliterate Joe Linton, Matt Target and co.
Yeah.
And Newcastle are a Champions League team.
Yeah.
And don't be saying, now he's got to go on loan as he's rough around the edges. What, got to go on loan? We've got Rasmus Højlund as the number 9. There's minutes there. That tells me if you've got to go on loan, you ain't making it at Man United. And don't come at me and be like, David Beckham went on loan. People go on loan when there's not minutes available. People don't go on loan when Rasmus Højlund is the starting striker and you can't get in over him.
Yeah, look, that's the key part. I was just going to say that. Look, I feel like United fans, they're always clinging to the academy thing, and the reason I think it's become a problem is because you're shoehorning now, and you're
Yeah.
shoehorning players who shouldn't even be getting a chance. Well, everyone loves a success story from the academy. I do. There's nothing better. When someone from the academy comes through and they are hitting it in the first team, it's amazing. I love it with Phil Foden. However, I don't want to see City just randomly putting lads in who I think are shit and not at that level, just because I'm crying for another success story. No, you've got to sometimes accept that sometimes players that look good in the under-18s, the under-21s, they can't make that transition because, Alex, the gulf is huge. And this is where a lot of other teams, I feel like, are smarter at it than Manchester United. City are very good at it. We've gone too far the other way, and we're giving away the really good ones now. But what they do is they know someone's not ready for the Prem, so they will go, it's fine, we'll put that in place, sell in, buyback clause, happy days. What United are doing is like trying to make this work with players they shouldn't. Like, are the youth team managers not saying, he's really good at this, touch is a bit loose. And I just don't know. I don't know how they're getting to that level. And then the worst thing is that United fans can't let it go. You still got United fans saying they want Welbeck back, Alex.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They need to move on from this fucking academy obsession.
You don't want to come across as bashing anybody. But at the end of the day, playing for Man United is a privilege. Or it should be. And it's 100%. You can't be handing it out, and I wouldn't mind, but he's come from Arsenal's academy. I don't know if the desperation is for him to work out because you want to go to Arsenal fans and give them shit that we took their striker. Trust me, they ain't fucking bothered, mate. I'm just talking about a guy.
I'd just like to ask you that, Alex. So with this, I really don't know any how that transfer happened. But do you think they were too bothered really with him leaving? I mean, looking at now what we see in Chido Obi, do you think that they're that concerned? I mean, are we seeing anything that we think he's going to go on to do great things, or was it just that they lost a youth team asset and maybe didn't get enough?
Yeah, I suppose you invest in someone who does well in the youth team. You want to see it through and give them a pro contract if they deserve it. But I'm sure they had concerns over the fundamentals missing in Chido Obi's game. You're putting it up to him and he can't hold the ball up. And if he does get a touch on it, it's bouncing off him. Not to mention the shooting. Like I said, these goals, I need to probably go and have a look at them, really, because the shooting that I've seen, I've not been impressed with. And I want to shout out a guy that we touch base with on TikTok, David Talks Football. We've kind of subbed to each other. We might be doing a bit of a collab. And to be honest, he posted a TikTok on Chido Obi. And normally when a United YouTuber or anybody with a fan channel post something on Chido Obi particularly, it's talking about how great of a prospect he is. However, shout out David for for speaking the truth on Chido Obi, talking about the shortcomings, talking about how he doesn't see anything. I totally agree, commented on it, and we've obviously had a little bit of a back and forth with David. If you've not seen his channel, go and check out his content. He's a really good, got some great takes, really good with the video, so go and check out David. Hopefully we can have a collab, Christian, at some point.
For sure.
But it was so refreshing. I commented on his TikTok, and that's what I said. It's so refreshing to see somebody tell the truth. And like you said, there's a tweet there. What did it say? Showed great signs last season. Even if you are the most pro Chido Obi person on planet Earth, there's no way you can look me dead in the eye and say you saw anything last season. If something's going to come that we've not seen yet, I suppose you could make that claim. I don't know what you're basing it on, but you cannot say you've seen anything in the past that's made you actually think, wow, we've got a guy here. Christian, like I said, why is he going out on loan? We've got Højlund. He scored 4 goals last year. He's another one who can't control it. Forget going on loan. Get playing.
Yeah, I think Højlund's that bad. If Chido Obi's coming in and then it's like, oh, we can't keep putting him in the firing line, we'll have to bring Højlund back. Well, that ain't great, is it? You know what I mean? I don't care what age he is. If he's coming in, we know how bad Højlund is. That kind of says it all. And I think, why it's important that obviously David touched on this is because, like I say, United fans en masse, you mentioned it yourself, that was the top comment, saying that about Chido Obi. You've got like 400 or 500 people agreeing with it in one go. It's not the minority. And this is the thing, it's people clinging to this academy obsession. It's like, listen, if you can have an academy success, it's amazing. But you want players there that you think they're not going to sink as soon as they get there. No, because as well, Alex, it doesn't even do them any favours. What favours has it done a lot of these players that have come through United system and then they've ended up elsewhere? Some of them haven't even got teams, Alex. Some of them are not even in professional football anymore. They might have a different job. They might be in a fucking call centre. Was that a good move then to put him through just to appease the fans, appease the masses, and go, oh, potential? No, it's not. You want players who have got real potential that you can sit there and you don't have to talk bollocks on all these inflated stats because it's at a lower level and really he's just bulldozing them in. You want to come with actual things and you can say, his close control looks ridiculous, his dribbling's on point, my God. That's what you want to go down the route of, and not the other.
No, you're so true. And just leaning back into obviously what we're talking about with Max Dalman and the difference with that people, the first thing they'll do is go on Cheeto Obi's academy stats and they'll post them.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at Max Dowman's stats because I don't care. I don't care if he doesn't score a goal again this season. It won't change my opinion on him. Something would have to seriously derail what I've seen so far. We're talking like off the pitch problems. But I believe they've got a very good role model in Declan Rice to put his arm around him as a bit of a mentor. Christian, I know you're really happy with this from Max's perspective, having Declan there. Surely he's going to work wonders, and I think we both share the opinion Declan Rice should be Arsenal's captain, taking that role on. Let's face it, Odegaard can't be the guy to mentor him because he'll be coming for his position.
Yeah, man, this is the problem, and I think the reason I like it with it being Declan Rice is a very, very good player, and he's had a meteoric rise through, obviously, West Ham system. Won a European trophy as well. I'd probably say he is a West Ham legend just for that reason alone.
No doubt.
And then, obviously, he's gone to Arsenal. We saw that performance at Real Madrid. Don't get me wrong, he's a big dog, and I really like his attitude, and I think he's the perfect guy to mentor this lad and make sure he doesn't go astray, give him just the right amount of exposure, let him showcase his talent, but also give him the right advice, you know what I mean? Have an arm around him. And I think, he should be the captain. Odegaard, I've never understood why Odegaard was the captain. He doesn't have the mentality of a captain. He doesn't have the presence of a captain. When the chips are down in the big games, Odegaard's not that guy. He doesn't really dig deep. You don't see him give me the ball. He's not like a De Bruyne-esque. I never really got it.
Yeah.
Look, I get some people can show me some clips, and he's had some nice moments.
It's the hair flicks.
It's the hair flicks getting all the snot in his hair, innit? It's that right texture. But, no, mate, I think the first thing they need to do, they need to rip that captaincy off him. Yeah. So, and put it on Rice's arm, 100%.
Yeah. Just before we wrap up on this, been really fun talking about this kid. Really got me on the edge of my seat, and I just want to ask you about. We've sort of touched on what Arsenal should do this season. We want to see him featuring from the get go, really. Actually, after the United game, maybe like bring
after
fucking
the City game as well. City game as well.
Yeah. Play Trossard against United and Madueke against City, and then just let him go berserk against the rest. Christian, the World Cup is in a year's time. Mr. Lamine Yamal was a starter for Spain a year ago. Yeah. He was close to his 17th birthday, but I believe he was 16 at the time of the tournament, close to his 17th birthday. Obviously started started every game, scored that absolute worldie against France. Yeah. What? This is mad. And again, this is a moment in this episode where I'm checking myself. Can Max Dalman go to the World Cup in 12 months' time?
Look, it's not that unrealistic, is it? From what we've seen so far, we of course need to see his level in the Premier League, but I don't think it's an outlandish question from what I've witnessed so far. I said before, generational talent. I really think he is. I'm not gassing this up. He's not a City player. I've got no horse in the race. Do you know what I mean? I'm genuinely watching with my eyes, and I've never been this impressed with a young player since probably Wayne Rooney. I really haven't, Alex. So, look, to say that it's impossible, no, not a chance. I think if he hits the ground running, he gets some serious game time. It all depends on what Arteta does. If Arteta chooses to use him enough. If he doesn't, then obviously it's not going to happen. But I think, here's one claim I will make, Alex. If he gets a fair amount of exposure this year, I think he goes, honestly.
Yeah, I completely hear you. He's got that grace about him where like a Rooney was that, just force of nature. Technically still very good, but this guy, like I said, he sort of floats across the pitch. It's
Alex,
phenomenal.
I'm not even bothered putting my neck on the line for this as well. Look, I know we'll get comments and people saying, "Oh, you're talking bollocks. You've only seen him twice."
And that's fair. Look, that's fair if people think.
Fair enough if that's your opinion, but put it this way: I'm willing to put my neck on the line. Someone that never really talks up potential. I fucking hate it in my club. We do it too often. We give too many players too much allowance. But sometimes there's some players that come through and you're like, wow, that's something different. I've not seen that before. Barcelona had it with Lamine Yamal, and to be fair, it's the first time in a long time I've seen it in England where I've been like, Jesus Christ, and it's taking you back a little bit. And then you put into, obviously, his age into the bracket, and that's even more just mind-blowing. So...
Think about it, Christina. If Yamal was nearly 17 at the time of the tournament that he started in and was amazing in, Max Dowman would be 6 months off his 17th birthday. So if you're thinking like, tit for tat with Lamine Yamal in the Euro 2024, World Cup 26 for Max Dowman would be, he'd be 6 months ahead of the curve of Lamine Yamal. So, and I'm not saying he's the norm. He's another complete alien as well, Lamine Yamal. But I'm kind of glad he's happened because it does make you think, why not? And I do wonder, because obviously Kobbie Mainoo sort of came in late in the season. He made the squad and he actually became a starter in every single knockout round of the tournament all the way through to the final. And I remember looking at the odds of Kobbie Mainoo to make the squad, and I never put a bet on. Around January time when he'd had a good stretch of games, scored that brilliant solo goal against Wolves. And I never put a bet on. I was just thinking, I probably should have done this before the episode. I wonder what odds Max Dalman is now to make the England squad, because they list stuff like this. Yeah. Man, we'll have a look at it after this episode. Maybe we'll talk about it in the next one. Maybe we'll put a tenner on it. I think we've got to back it now, haven't we? Let's be honest.
Exactly. After we put this up out, Alex, I've just got a question for you, right?
Yeah.
So. It's a bit of a mad one to say this already, but does Max Dowman, do you believe he has a bigger ceiling than Bukayo Saka?
Yes, I do. I do, and that's unbelievable. I think Max Dowman right now is better than a lot of attackers in the league.
I do.
I think he's better. I think he's better than Madueke and Trossard for starters. Not saying that's the hottest take. Martinelli, you'd have to give a little bit to, just because he's played more games and we see more of him. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're sat here in October going, mate, he's fucking head and shoulders above Martinelli right now. Saka's a brilliant player. He's got great ball retention. I spoke about it. The use of the body, getting his body in between man and ball, fantastic.
That question, by the way, was not poised to any Arsenal fans. No. If any Arsenal fans watching, it's not poised to shit all over Saka. He's one of my favourite players in the league also. All I'm saying is, it's more to the point of how good Dalman is. That's where I'm trying to go with this, because you're already looking where Saka is. Now, could he go to that level and more? And I genuinely believe he can, Alex.
Just because of the dribbling ability is something that we can't see. I mean, ultimately, Saka is restricted to his speed level and his ceiling of pace with the ball. He can go past people. He can work yards really well. This guy can work big spaces. This is where your cutting in merchants become really good, because they can cut in and create. They don't cut in and create a little bit of space. They're cutting in, like I said, they're cutting in and creating 2 yards. So what does that mean? You're getting more time. You're getting more time and space to plant your right foot, balance, nice strike. Robben, why do you think Robben was so good at it? Because he didn't work yards. He worked 2 yards. This is what great. Obviously, Messi, Cristiano, Bale. There was a bunch of them that were amazing at this. Max Dowman. He's throwing in these feints. He's coming in. It's like when you watch Garnacho, for example, another one that Rio Ferdinand said is going to get better and better for the rest of his life. Garnacho, what does he do? He stood on an island, he nudges it to his right, and he shuts his eyes and twats it, because he hasn't got the ability to do much more. He hasn't got the ability to work 2 yards. Why? Because defenders are eating him up. They ain't frightened of him. You spoke about Milan players backing off. Athletic defenders... You knock it past me that way, I'll catch you. You deck inside, I'll take it off you. Mate, you can't do that. Dalman's got too much ability to you've got to respect his game already.
No, he has, Alex. And the thing is, I mean, he could even give Arteta a selection headache, because he's so good and he's got so many good attributes in different areas. It's like he could play in any sort of formation in probably most positions on the pitch and be effective. So it's fitting him in right. I mean, Alex, he could come in at false 9. I mean, of course, they've just gone and obviously got their boy, haven't they? They've got good old Glockeres, so they're all right now. But like Alex, he could be comfortable anywhere across that front line. That's what I'm seeing with this lad, and I really am looking forward to it. I just hope we get to see enough of him, and we don't act like, well, it's nothing to do with us or as a country, but in terms of Arsenal, be brave a little bit. Like, there's no reason. Barcelona were not like, let's wrap this guy up in cotton wool. they were like, "You're good enough to go now, so we're not going to hold you back. We're not going to put you in the under 21s for a year and watch you score 50 goals for no reason."
Yeah.
Because there's just something on that, Alex, and we spoke about this before. So say this wrapping up argument and what TalkSport are saying, "Oh, you've got to be careful. You don't sling them in. They could get injured, burn them out." Like you said, what the fuck does that even mean? Because if they play under 21s football, it's the same thing. It's just, a bit high intensity. So will he benefit more from 20 minutes in big games, coming on in decisive moments and being given that responsibility? Will that bring his career on more than saying, "No, actually, all year you're playing in the under 21, score as many goals as you want and you'll get hacked the fuck out of all year"?
100%.
Which one works? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and also in the Prem, you're liable to a bit more protection. You've got VAR as well. People nowadays can't go in and Roy Keane you. Do you know what I mean? So you're almost giving him a little bit more protection just by definition in the Prem. Let's think of that first game against United. There's only so many times Manuel Ugarte and Patrick Dorgu can take him out because there'll be a yellow card and VAR will be all over anything that oversteps the line. So I completely agree with you. We've just seen, go and watch the under-18s game, anybody watching this, against Man United, kicking the living shit out of him, and he was just turned 15.
And you've got players, so right, and you've got players at that level, like them Man United boys, they might not ever make it. You know what I mean? No. And it's like, there will always be, look, we've all been that young lad, and there's a fucking very good player, like, I'm going to fucking leave one on him. And at the end of the day, like, they're in a position where he's the guy, everyone knows he's already impressed at this level. Am I going to stick one on him? Yeah. And the whole fucking team was sticking one on him. Yeah. So really, putting him back to the 21s or 18s, wherever it may be they choose, doesn't mean this guy doesn't get injured. I actually think it increases the chances. So honestly, Arsenal should put him in the first team, being around that first team squad. Don't just be training with them. Give him the chance to actually make an impact.
100%, mate. And look, they've got to win the league. They've got to win it at some point. Yes, City were better. Now Liverpool are going berserk. How about you go and win it? How about stop pointing the finger? Yes, they've spent a lot. Yes, City spent a lot. You've spent a lot as well. Go and win the fucking league now. Enough excuses. You've got what we're talking about as a potential world-class footballer that is on your pre-season books right now. Don't be talking to me about Florian Wirtz. This guy could be better. And I don't even know when. Do you know what I'm saying? Christian, before we wrap up, two questions for you. First one. Has the appearance of Max Dowman made you rethink Arsenal's title chances at all, assuming he plays a reasonable amount this season?
Yeah, of course.
Not your prediction.
It all rests on that, doesn't it? Look, it's made me think again. It's made me revisit that conversation because at first we've seen how busy Liverpool have been. They've made some really shrewd moves in the market, been very smart. Look, I do still think Liverpool will be favourites just because of his age. And in terms of, I don't think he will get enough chance to express himself. But it seriously gives them something different. Them games where it's tight and you need that winner and that guy who's going to stand up. Do I think he has that about him? Yeah. So could it change things? Possibly. And that's where I'm at with it. It remains to be seen.
Hear you. Okay, last question. Yes or no? Max Dalman takes Martin Odegaard's position this season at some point in the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're calling it?
I'm being serious, yeah. I really think he will because I think Odegaard, his career trajectory, I think is quite worrying at the stage he's at. He's going to have to start fast and really improve certain areas of his game. One thing I don't like about Odegaard, Alex, and this is what I was saying about the captaincy, I don't feel like he stands up enough. I mean, certainly not enough to be a captain, but I don't think he stands up enough to be a number 10 for Arsenal at all. No. If you want to go and win the league, Alex, I don't think you win a league with him as a 10. I really don't. Because I don't think he's got enough about him. I don't think he's got the bollocks to do it. I really don't think talent-wise he's up there with the best in terms of 10s. I think if he starts anything other than very fast, the pressure's going to build. And we know the Arsenal presence online is huge, Alex, and they will be loud about this.
Yeah, so, they want to see him, man,
look, if we've seen Dalman's level, they're going to ask that question. What do you think, though, the reverse that question? Be interested.
Yeah. So, it's a tough one because I'm trying to factor in Arteta here. You know what?
Presume
Yeah,
Arteta, take that away then. Presume Arteta gives him a chance, which we don't
presume
think
Arteta gives him a chance. He'll take Odegaard's position this season. I actually think that moment against Newcastle or Milan, one of the two, whichever one it was, where he was running through in a transition, and Odegaard takes 15 touches, and Dalman ends up running offside, and he throws his arm up at him. I actually reckon that's going to be a symbolic moment at some part in the season, because I'm not saying Max Dowman doesn't respect mine Odegaard. That's ridiculous to say. But I'm just saying in that moment, he felt that he could turn around and give him a little bit.
Yeah.
What you delaying the fucking pass for, mate? I was in.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if in 3, 4, 5 months' time, maybe early next year, January, he's had a few Carabao games, maybe an FA Cup game in January or February, and then we're looking at it a different light where he's outperforming Odegaard pound for pound, and you just mentioned it perfectly. Arsenal's YouTube masses are already want to see this guy. They've already labelled him. They want him. They want to see him now. Don't fucking blame you either. By the way, amazing talent, and I'd love to see him in that 10 for Arsenal, or even on the right hand side. Saka's had injury problems, hasn't he?
Alex, just another one with it as well. I think the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because Odegaard's play style is very different. It is sometimes a bit slow, a bit methodic. And it can be a little bit, it can be a little bit robotic sometimes, where he's playing the easy pass sometimes, more often than not. If he's coming in off the bench and he's breezing past players and making opponents push back, the Arsenal fans, it's one of them where you see his number go up, fans are up, and you're like, first touch, gone blown past a player. It is going to ramp the pressure up, and I think that's going to be key. But yeah, bro, listen, let's see where it goes. Hopefully we do see some more of this lad. Like we say, preferably after we played them.
Could be game one.
Could be game. Him up for an hour and then having to congratulate him. So
yeah, could be game one against United. Man. Look, shout at this kid. I'm sure he's living the absolute dream right now, and it's what every kid who's ever kicked a football dreams of. So I hope he's enjoying every second of this, because it is a phenomenal story, and he is a phenomenal player, phenomenal talent. Listen to Declan Rice. Hopefully his family's a real good support system for him, and hopefully we see you this year, because we all want to see you at that World Cup, mate. If this is anything to go by, mate, forget Cole Palmer, forget Jude Bellingham. Maybe this guy could be leading us to glory in the summer. So, Christian, fantastic episode. Really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comments what you think of Max Dowman. If you enjoyed the episode, hit a like, subscribe. Appreciate you all. Okay, catch us on the next one.